So we're back for another round of 32 match here from the Ultimate Series Solstice, and this time it's going to be Mugs is Mexican on the Legion side, and I'm probably not going to be able to say that very often. Going up against TZP Tang Zhang Pang on the Hellborn side, you probably recognize them if you've been watching stuff because they are a Diamond Division team, and they've had some decent success in that arena. They went to the playoffs for Han Tour Season 2, and they got knocked out relatively quickly, but they nonetheless went. I don't know anything about the Legion team. In the chat, they're saying that they're impunity from Garena, which could be, don't know. Apparently, Hellborn are like, wow, you have really, really high ping, so if that's the case, then yeah, this could definitely be a Southeast Asian team. And we'll see what they're able to do with those ping issues. Meanwhile, bans are out. Engineer, Tempest, Parasite, and Pestilence. Nothing pretty surprising there. Removing most of the junglers, except for Ophelia, is a little weird because people consider, oh, usually Oph is the best hero in the jungle, and she is first picked here by Legion, so perhaps not that surprising. And just really, I mean, the band's fairly standard, nothing crazy there, I think. So it'll be Oph first pick, Warby second pick here for the Legion side, and that's probably going to be Ophelia jungle, Warby suicide. Lots of push potential, obviously, off the bat, as they will be able to destroy towers in about half a second between those two heroes alone. Of course, Battlecry also very helpful for Ophelia, but we'll see what happens with that. So far, makings of a strong lineup, both being able to lock people down for War Beast, so not a lot of teamfight damage, but solid gank potential, very, very strong push. Teamfight's not really there, but we'll see, and at least the carry potential is certainly there with War Beast. Torture and Kraken picked up by the Hellborn side, so they've got the team fight so far, and push is decent for them with Torture. Obviously going to be, almost, not obviously, but very possibly going to be a support Torture. So we'll see what they choose to do. Obviously can't really run a jungler unless they do Keeper or Legionnaire or something like that, because the Tempest and Parasite were both banned out. So we'll see what they choose to do. I suspect it'll be a second support strat. Moon Queen is the third pick here for Legion, as that's definitely going to be a short laner. So we've got basically 3 lanes down here, looking for a support and a mid hero on Legion side, and could possibly be a babysit, could be a mid to put in a dual lane. We'll see what they choose to do. As apparently Vindy and Artesia are both broken. I don't know. Artesia is really powerful, like, if she gets to a good start, but if she doesn't, she's just food. Galatia is going to be the third pick here for Hellborn, so they do go to the second support strat. Kraken not really revealing too much here, as they could do quite a lot of anything. They could suicide hit, put him mid, put him short. They could also theoretically try lane with one of their last 2 picks. They could have dual lane mid, dual lane top, dual lane bot. So nice draft here from TZP and from Legion. Legions are a little bit more set in stone, but they just have extremely powerful heroes. So that's a little more acceptable. Like, if we know what they're going to do, but actually preventing them from doing what they want is going to be difficult because their heroes are so good. Hellborn, I've opted more for the we don't know what they're going to do strat. So we might get lucky and be able to shut them down because they misplay or because we're just better in lane or whatever, but if we don't know what they're going to do, it's much harder to predict and much harder to win. No doubt. Our support is fapping. And Melbourne, 4 seasons, 1 day. Anyway, bans are just about concluding here. So much chat, I can't keep track of what's going on. Keeper of the Forest, Bubbles, Wretched Hag, Drunken Master, Gemini, and Jeraziah are banned out. Jeraziah is a weird ban, so let's just put that to the wayside because I don't know why you'd ban. It's been every so often it pops up, and I don't think the hero is impactful enough to really warrant a ban, and we don't really see it enough to be like, oh, got banned Jerry. But that will be added to the Drunken Master and Bubbles from the Hellborn side's bans. removing certainly mid heroes that can be very powerful, not a surprise. Keeper of the Forest, Gemini, and Wretched Hag banned out from Legion's side, so versatile heroes more than anything, also some powerful suicides and the potential jungle for Keeper. So removing essentially any chance the Hellborn had for jungle as if they weren't going to do that themselves with the support Torturer, but regardless, it is now gone. And they're apparently very friendly between the two of them. In Darwin, it's like 40 degrees every day. Kinesis picked up by Legion. Now, I would assume this is still a Suicide War Beast, but we've seen Suicide Kinesis, and I'm not totally sold on Kinesis in the mid. It could be a support Kinesis, and I like that. I think Kinesis does have quite a bit of support potential with the Stasis Smash being both an offensive and defensive spell, and he has a lot of burst damage. So, in a sense, I think he's perhaps even a better version of Torture, maybe a different version. I want to really say better, but no, it is going to be an Aluna here, so that's going to be the supportive choice. Kinesis is presumably going to be mid-solo, Suicide, War Beast, and Aluna Moon Queen bot with Ophelia in the jungle, so I like those lanes. There's a lot of lockdown on bot, a lot of kill potential there. We'll see who they choose to Suicide, but it's going to have to be a very defensive hero. Possibly Kraken, although his melee nature is a bit of an issue. Both Hagger Bubbles would have been perfect for a Suicide in this situation because they're ranged, and so they can eat some of Aluna's harass and dish it back out, as well as able to get away in the event that they are jumped by Aluna, Moon Queen, and Ophelia. But I'm liking Legion's draft here. Obviously a ton of late game. They don't have as much team fight as you might like. Moon Queen Ultimate solves, and Ophelia Ultimate solve a lot of those problems, obviously, but we'll see if they can compete with the AoE. And really, Hellborn don't have that much themselves, so this is going to be a Suicide Kraken here. Devour and Binnle. Or this could be an aggressive Tri-Lane. I want the aggressive Tri-Lane. Devo Torturer Glacius is a pretty damn powerful Tri-Lane. Dr. Pulsar solo short, Kraken solo mid. And with what should be a War Beast Suicide and a mid Kinesis, those lanes should be fine.
Let's get it on.
And with the aggressive Tri-Lane on bot, it's going to help them shut down this Moon Queen. So both sides having pretty good drafts. Neither side has that much team fight, so that weakness doesn't hurt them. Push is much stronger on Legion. Carry is stronger on Legion. And the burst potential is relatively even. I think Legion have a little more burst, Hellborn have a little more gotcha potential, so in terms of the gank, it's gonna be a little even. I do favor Legion's draft here. Their lanes are pretty obvious, but I think with Hellborn's last two picks of that Doctor and Dev, they're pretty obvious as well. I don't think they can avoid running this aggressive Tri-Lane. It just makes too much sense, and I think that's what they're going to do here. As Dev heads bot, Kraken is in the base, and Repulsor's top, so we'll see what they do choose to do, but I think it is going to be that aggressive Tri-Lane, and that's what it looks like it's shaping up to be. No surprise here from the Legion lanes. We've got Kinesis mid, Warbeast scouting with Wolves, because he's not Keizu. On bot, Moon Queen is here. Aluna is roaming a bit, but I cannot imagine she won't go bot. Up top, Warbeast Wolf will scout out Doctor. And the aggressive Tri-Lane here from Hellborn. Ward goes down there, will block the pull. Another Ward of Sight here already placed to grab the ward, or the rune. And they might have seen that ward go down, but it will block this hard camp here. And it'll actually provide some vision there because of the chopped tree. So Ophelia gonna have a couple of camps blocked out, has access to one hard camp here and a medium camp. But it's going to be harder for her to gank, of course, because of these Ward of Sights providing plenty of vision in this lane. She's going to have to take a pretty weird path to not get spotted out if she wants to jump. And they're switching this thing up. So they see the aggro try and they're responding to it. They're going to put the pseudo Tri-Lane top. And up top, Doctor's taking a bunch of damage here. Don't think he's going to die, but that's a bit of an issue. So good response here from Legion. As they used the wolf, they saw what was happening, and they switched this up. So Kinesis is still going to be middle, but now it's going to be a suicide bottom, as Warbeast is going to try to get as much as he can down here. Hellborn pulling the wave into the jungle and using it to farm a bit. So Ophelia now going into the Hellborn jungle, not going to be bothered by these blocked camps. And that's a nice little bonus. So good response from Legion, really. As that was really impressive. They're like, alright, we saw this, we'll respond to it. Because Hellborn's lanes were extremely powerful. They had the potential to pretty easily win all three of them, I think. And now Doctor up top is going to have some problems. Because until he hits 6, he's very vulnerable. He's not mobile at all. And with the 3 stuns, potentially more coming out from Ophelia, it's going to be a bit of an issue in terms of trying to keep up this farm, because he's going to be... He was in a lane where he thought, oh, I'm going to get free farm here. It's going to be against a Warbeast, so it's going to be a little annoying, but I shouldn't have too many issues. And now with the Moon Queen and Luna, he's going to get harassed, and he's losing lane control here pretty fast. Warbeast, meanwhile, not really having too many problems on bot. As he drags creeps past the tower, we'll get all of the CS here. Devo is missing some because the tower's taking it. So Hellborn also rotating with Glacius heading middle to help out Kraken with Kinesis here. Obviously, they don't need to continue running the Shrine Line with Warbeast on bot, so this looks like it's going to be 1v1. And now they're going to have some issues because Doctor doesn't like this. Ophelia coming in from the back, and now Doctor's in a lot of trouble. This is going to be a bloodlust. And they're trying to give it to Moon Queen, and they do successfully do so. Moon Queen with that base 320 move speed just a little too fast. And they will use a Word of Rev here to spot this. Word to say, I think, doesn't that also block this camp? Maybe not. Anyway, up top, it looks like we're going to turn into dual lanes here, and we're going to have Torture boxing out this Ophelia a little bit. But, so this is going to help Doctor, no doubt, and he sort of needs this now with the situation that's going on. He needs some more support. The issue is Doctor likes levels, and he does not really thrive in a dual lane. He doesn't really have the kill potential to take advantage of a support being here. With a tri-lane, he might be able to get killed, but that's even worse, because he wants to hit 6 as fast as possible and start farming, and start ganking. Kraken, in the meantime, going to have to charge away, as Kinesis is doing a little too much damage. So this is sort of turning into a tri-lane top, and they're having some issues on Hellborn. Level 1 Torture, level 2 Glacius. The rest of their team is 4, which is good. But those 2 heroes are going to be ripe for pickoffs as things transition, and now they're moving Moon Queen bottom with the Suicide Warbeast. So that this has just been consistently strong rotation here from Legion. It took Hellborn a long time, several minutes, to adapt to the change that Legion made, and they gave up a Bloodlust in the process. Now, Legion are like, okay, you made that switch, we're going to switch back ourselves. We're going to put our pseudo tri-lane bottom once again, and Hellborn are immediately responding to this, so much better reaction time the second time, but still going to lose some time as MQ has been farming. Dev is level 5, so that's a nice advantage, but the rest of the Hellborn's ports are just super low level. He's going to eat into the trees off to the side, look for a hook onto somebody. But even if he gets one, the support is over here, so the lockdown's not going to be there. So we'll see what Legion can do here. Now that they have the pseudo tri-lane against the aggressive tri-lane, like we first thought it was going to be before the scouting happened, Legion are at a bit of a disadvantage because, as you can see, Moon Queen's backed so far off. If she gets jumped, she's dead. So a hook in, a stun into a hook, whatever. If she gets initiated on, she will probably die. She's just too squishy. And there's too much lockdown here from Hellborn's side and too much damage coming out from them as well. Aluna only has the stun, can't do enough to really keep her alive. Dev looking for the hook. Will not find it, as Legion are playing extremely cautious here, as they need to. Ophelia is in range of this Word of Sight, so let's see what goes on. Gets Ice Imprisoned here. Hook not going to hit. Just a little too short. But it might not be enough, or it might not be a big deal. Chain reactions are there. They're trying to block her out. Where's the rot? Not there, and she just does barely get away, as those boots are extremely helpful. Luna off to the side, perhaps looking for something, but Hook going to be back up in a second. Meanwhile, in mid, Swiddle Melons picks off that Kinesis, drops the release Kraken, and man, the splash auto attack hits really hard, even with the inherent defense. So nice kill there, even it up at 1-1, and we have a really, really even game in terms of golden resource. Gold and experience. Lei's just going to rotate bot, and we'll pick up a Refreshment Rune. Rune spawns top, but it's a double damage. Ultimate onto Moon Queen there, and she's in some trouble, not going to die here as the stun comes out from Aluna. Lei's just rotating back here, and up top, Warbeast dying to a Doctor that has level 7 now, and was level 6 before, but a level 4 Warbeast means it's hard to do much to stop that. So 2 for 1 now as TZP is taking a lead. Again, this Legion side just so cautious here. Looking for a hook on Aluna. She is slower as Dev has Steam Boots. Off to the side, Ophelia will look for Minotaur Stomp and get it. Prevent this Dev from doing too much, and a stun going out at it too. Gonna try to land this hook. Using the Minotaur to block a little bit, but Ophelia might be... Nope. Eats the Minotaur. Aluna and Glacius going to spot each other out, and with all of that distraction going on in the jungle as Hellborn are trying to address that, MQ is getting some farm. Off to the side here, Aluna now in some trouble, takes the Ice Imprisonment, and that's nice stun actually. Dev Hook is available, so this is still going to be a death, I think. There's an ultimate onto Aluna, plus a Rot. Wow. So much damage. Still going to get the kill onto Aluna here, but nice ultimate there from MQ, doing a ton of damage to Kraken and Torturer. 2 deaths there, as Glacius going to try to pour it out, will be successful. So 3 for 1 there is nice coming in from Kinesis there with the mass control, dropping it onto Dev's head and just doing so much damage. Plus the Moonbeam bounces, of course, hitting only heroes, taking out Kraken and then Torturer. So sort of lucky bounces there a bit, but I think other heroes might have been in range. Maybe not. And lots of stacks here for the Legion as well, so that's going to help Moonbeam out a lot. Assuming, of course, Dev does not take them, which he very well could. Now he is off the side, gets the hook onto Moon Queen, plus the ultimate and the Rot, so this is going to be a death on MQ, but that's what happens. Off to the side, Invis Kinesis, looking for something, but there are Rev Wards all over here, so if he jumps, then he could be in some trouble. MQ going to port Bottom once again, has Luna here with the support now. Moonbeam there onto Dev. Gonna activate the Rot though, there's the stun. Thunder Blast is available. Hook going to be into on Luna. Now she's going to die. Kinesis coming here looking for something. Will drop a bunch of stuff onto Dev. They're going to try to get a kill here and will do so. Now Torturer in some trouble as Ophelia's looking for rotation. Kraken is here as well, but it's not going to be enough. Torturer goes down way too fast and Kraken's just going to head back mid. So 2 for 1 there. Losing their support, taking Dev and the support. Good trade here for Legion. As up top, we do have a level 6 Warbeast, so he is doing much better now, as he does not have to be as concerned. 172 GPM, not the greatest, but Suicide Warbeast, he'll take it. In terms of CS, he's at 25-0 compared to Doctor at 56-9, so Doctor having a really good time here. 340 gold per minute. Kraken going to go here, bottle the Refreshment Rune, wait for the 10-minute, and he is currently sitting at 38-4 compared to Kinesis at 34-6, so slightly winning this mid lane. But with Kinesis having a couple of kills, he has higher GPM, 308 versus 265. Bottom Dev is 40-4 compared to MQ's 32-3, so no better CS here on Dev, but Dev, and once again, MQ 4-1-1, so the the hero kill advantage here on the Kinesis and Moon Queen, allowing them to take a higher GPM. As MQ's cleaning up some creeps. Red ward goes down, counters that ward, looking for the hook, and Aluna is in a lot of trouble there. She's going to definitely die. So gets the counter ward finished, but pays for it. As avoiding dev hooks can often be a problem if you're without boots. MQ now realizing exactly where the opposing team is. They're looking for a hook. And ultimate going off meanwhile as Oaf's getting caught by Kraken here. Already had the ultimate go down. Hook will hit Oaf despite all the creeps there. That's painful. Three creeps there and she still dies. Now MQ for some reason feeling like this is a good idea. She's in a lot of trouble. Will drop here. Kinesis has the mass control. Gonna try to kill Dev. Not gonna happen. Putting more and he finally will get the last hit there. A couple more onto Kraken and now Kraken's in some trouble. Will charge away and should be okay. Thunder Blast there onto the Ophelia creeps plus the Kinesis. As Kinesis really needs some health here, or some mana. But boy does he do a lot of damage. And now Kraken's again, once he's in some trouble, just gonna get away with 20 health. So good cleanup there from Kinesis, really picking off that Dev and the Glacius. I don't know why MQ went in there without an ultimate. Maybe it was almost off cooldown and she's like, oh, I'm so close, but should have waited, buddy. Kinesis going to pick up a Neophyte's book there. As you can clearly see, he needs some mana regen, man. If he had had some more Kraken, would have been dead as well. Doctor died in the tower here. Ward Beast will port in and be okay. So once again, golden experience, extremely even here. It's a slight experience lead here for Legion, but it's really inconsequential. As Dev is rotated middle, Doctor off to the side, perhaps looking for a pick on this Kinesis, but he's just going to leave. MQ bottom once again. And this favors Legion. And even resource control game at this point does favor Legion because they do have a late game. Doctor's going Icon, it looks like, so he's looking for the aggressive play. Not a surprise. Considering how aggressive his team is, especially in the early to mid game, the Icon certainly makes a ton of sense. He should be extremely active. Dev chopping his way through some trees over here, looking for a hook. He's just sitting there. Hooker. Giant tongue thing comes out of his stomach. Do they see him? They might see him. Yep, they see him. There's a stasis match and an ultimate coming out from Moon Queen. Actually, it mitigates a lot of the damage, but Orca still gets the kill. And is in fact owning him. Torrent and Release the Kraken dropped. Not too much though, as the mass control almost kills Doctor. Ultimate from Ophelia. Now they're going to try to take down this Ophelia. Power Throw Snipe does finish off Ganal on that. And Delicious drops as well. Kraken in a ton of trouble. Chain reaction from Torture as he's porting in, but takes the Moonbeam and will die to Kinesis' damage, who just, man. Kinesis does so much damage.
The Legion have destroyed a Hellborn tower.
And that's a tower kill as well, so 4 hero kills plus a tower for Legion, and that's going to be a pretty significant advantage. Up top, War Beast is pushing in things a little bit himself. This tower will take some damage. Aswell's back in about 5 seconds. We're coming in, can try to address this push. Doctor will come in, do some damage here to War Beast. I don't think he has the ability to kill him at this point, especially because of that. So everything will be fine here, and Legion taking a golden experience lead for the first time in this game. Really just a substantial lead for one team. As they had a very, very positive fight there on bottom lane, and as a result, MQ is the highest farm in the game. Just behind her is Kinesis, and then Doctor. So things looking pretty solid here for Legion. Mid tower is denied. As like I said, you know, getting out of the laning phase here with an advantage is extremely beneficial. Hook there onto Moon Queen. She's in some trouble. Takes the rot. Actually gets Moonbeam there before he can get the ultimate off, and MQ's too fast. Up top, Ardent does fall as he gets jumped by Doctor. Obviously, no ult available as he already used it. Torture there as well, and just too much damage. Kraken off the side is hasted, looking for a jump here onto this Moon Queen. Has released the Kraken available. There's a Torrent, will slow her down. There's the Moonbeam, but she's pretty much definitely going to fall here. Ultimate coming out as well. He's trying to kill her. It's going to happen. Not enough support. So Moon Queen dies there, but unfortunate, but not the biggest deal. Actually, picking up both of their carries is a fairly big deal. 3 Skeleton Kings here from Ophelia. Ultimate not gonna, or sorry, Hook not gonna hit Aluna. Not the ultimate. Skeleton King net number 1, Skeleton King net number 2, stun. Skeleton King net number 3, and all sorts of stuff here coming on to Kraken. He will drop. So Kinesis here, awfully impressive. 7, 1, and 4, doing so much damage. He's level 12. So is Doctor, but I don't know, he's the highest level on this team. Port coming in here middle, and so is Deb. So they're going to try to chase down this Kinesis. This is not going to happen. Relusion is top, and he will bottle that. Doctor perhaps looking for a jump, as they're just really concerned about this addressing this Kinesis at this point. But he saw that coming way too early. Drops the illusions. Over to the side, Doctor will instead jump Warbeast, who activates the ultimate, but gets pulled in here. Deb going to look for something, as Warbeast now has to run in the wrong direction. He's in some trouble. Looking for the hook, not going to find it. So Warbeast will be able to skirt away as there's no more mana on Doctor. In mid, meanwhile, Ophelia getting caught out a little bit. Chain Reaction's not quite there. Glacius going to take a ton of damage and should drop. Power Throw does not connect into Torture, and he will survive. Port coming in there, though, as Kraken and Deb are both here. And this could very possibly be a mid-tower push. Hook there, just going to hit a creep. Kinesis is here, looking for something. Moonbeam available, but not going to go out. MQ taking some damage. Release Kraken gets dropped, but Pushbook out of it, so not the greatest placement to begin with. And then the Pushbook, of course, helping a lot, as Kinesis has gotten that early push. Abyssal Skull already on Warbeast, so with the jungle, he should be mostly okay. Going to start recovering here. 215 gold per minute. At this point, not the worst. So he should become relatively powerful, relatively fast, considering his farm already isn't that bad. MQ at 350 GPM. Again, not the greatest, but solid enough. Will be a tower kill here at some point. They'll see how what the damage is. Pushbook in from Kinesis, but now Torture is just going to get destroyed. This Doctor's getting locked down pretty effectively. Ultimate from Moon Queen coming out will kill this Kraken as well, as he's going to try to get something. Warbeast jumping in here. Doctor has not a lot of mana left, but Warbeast doesn't want to chase, and this is going to be a tower kill, another tower kill, as well as a top tower kill. So 3 tower kills are going to be down here in about 4 seconds, as like I said, the push on Legion is so strong. And they're sort of going to keep going here. I don't think they're actually going to push the base. That would surprise me. Maybe take a secondary tower instead if they want to keep pushing. And they can certainly do that at this point. They can easily clear the remaining tier 2s. Instead, going to take triple stacked Ancients here. That's much better. Stealing some resources here from Hellborn. Doctor is in, though, and Warbeast perhaps in some trouble. Will grab a refreshment, taking some stuff there. Astrolabe bowing out as well. Doctor's probably not going to be able to clean this up, as yep, there goes the Ophelia port back, and Warbeast will be fine. Throws a Skeleton King net. So Ancients will be cleaned up, in fact, by Hellborn, as if they had Moon Queen there, I think they would have taken it pretty easily. Off to the side over here, Kraken is in some trouble, takes a Moonbeam. Kinesis also available. Pushbook in, Stasis smashes there. And Release the Kraken gets dropped, so that will help Glacius do nothing. It's like, what's Glacius going to do there? So just so much burst damage onto the Kraken, man. 70 to 10 hero kills here in favor of Legion. They're up by 10k gold and 8k experience. They have the late game. They have the push. I'm worried about Hellborn's chances at this point. Icon is finished on Doctor, but he's only 343 gold per minute. He's only got 2 kills, and that's the total hero kill involvement. So No charges on that icon yet either, as both those kills came relatively early. Warding here from Legion, very solid. They've got one up here by the Ancients, as well as at the bot rune and the top rune, so they're pretty strong in terms of knowing where the opponent is and knowing that they're safe farming. So their carries should be mostly okay. Doctor and Dev off to the side are looking for a jump. Luna will back off though, so they're okay. Also lane ward here, so good warding here from Luna. And she's doing pretty well herself, 212 GPM. All of a sudden Warbeast at 280. A couple of minutes ago he was at 215, but it does not take long for him to recover once he has that Abyssal Skull. Spell Shards on Kinesis, that'll be fun. Do even more magical damage. MQ cleaning up this creep wave in middle. Hellborn Agents being stacked. Unsuccessfully because there's a Word of Rev there. And it's... Hellborn, I think, at this point, need to start ganking. Their ward coverage is solid. Defensive here, defensive there. Somewhat defensive. All their wards are on their side of the river. And they have a bunch of revs dropped up here for some reason. MQ, meanwhile, gonna find Dev, and he actually gets the kill on himself, which is lucky. They are gonna take Ancients, meanwhile, of course, just a triple stack. Or just a single stack. There's 3 of them. And looks like Legion's going to group up here bot and try to take in their tower. Which I like. I think they should be extremely aggressive at this point in terms of tower pushing, especially if they get a pick. And this is basically going to be a free secondary tower. There's just about nothing Hellborn can do to respond to this, especially without Dev. The Legion are going to be able to kill this tower way too fast. Aluna doing something with a power throw. Going to snipe out the top lane. So there goes top tower, or bot tower. Doctor trying to push this top tower. And as long as he's there, and they see him, they can keep going here. Kinesis pushing himself in, gonna try to get something onto Glacius, but gets hooked in by Dev, and now he's in a lot of trouble. So that was a little too aggressive there. Ultimate there from Moon Queen. Gonna get eaten by the creeps a lot, and they release the Kraken, gonna just be on the Geometry's Bay Illusions from MQ. But there goes the tower, as Kinesis basically suiciding himself for the tower kill. They do push it so damn hard. Aluna will get ported back, and Doctor, having used all his mana to get in there, will now not have any left. Just going to try to clean up these Ophelia creeps. We'll get the one Skeleton King, perhaps the second. Chain reactions there, plus the impalement, and there's a second Skeleton King death. But Hellborn get a bot tower, and they lose Kinesis, and they lose a Savage 6 streak, so that's a bunch of damage. Or sorry, gold there for Ganal, actually. That's a pretty big kill for him. How much should he get? 541 gold. That's a reasonably big kill. Perhaps not exactly the way that Hellborn would like to have done it, but... Or Legion would like to have done it, but... They still do get the kill. Kraken here going to try to get caught, but it's not going to happen. Yeah, another Skeleton King from Ophelia. He lost 2, got 1 right back. So Kinesis is back alive. I'd like to see them finish off that last outer tower up top. Warbeast up to 320 gold per minute now. Moon Queen's at 450, and this is just what's going to happen. Hellborn are playing awfully defensive at this point. They're not really looking for picks, and they need to. It's Ward Stravaganza over here. 2 revs from Legion, a ward, 2 wards of sight from both teams. Over here, another rev in the river, another ward of sight from Legion. So Convor is a focus, no doubt. And he well should be, but... Hellborn are just seeming like they're trying to outfarm their opponents, and they have a Warbeast and a Moon Queen. You're not going to do that. Stop trying. What you have is jump potential and damage to start ganking. So, like this Kinesis right here should be in a lot of trouble. He's not, because Hellborn are not here, and they're not really spawning. It's hard to when you don't have any towers up, but... Like, they should be looking for picks all over the map. They should be dewarding the Legion jungle so they can... continuously pressure it. They should be dewarding the Legion Ancients so they can make sure that if somebody is there, they can go get them. And they shouldn't be so concerned about farming their own jungle up, because it's not going to help them. Even if they farm at the same rate, Legion is going to be able to do more with that, because they have the damage. Up top, finally looks like they're going for a gank. Kraken is here, has a portal key. But Kinesis will back off because he cleans the creep wave up and he's like, now I'm gone. I spent, you know, a minute and a half here sitting here killing creeps. And I'm done now because if I know if I keep going, I'm going to die. Because I'm not a total moron. I'm cleaning up middle. So Kraken, like I said, having that Portal Key Shaman's headdress, steam boots, bottle, power supply, so he's reasonably well built. Looks like Docker's going for, actually in the meantime, trying to catch a Luna here won't happen. Off to the side, Ophelia and MQ gonna catch this Kraken. He's in some trouble. Will drop the ultimate from Moon Queen. Perhaps not looking for a Conqueror kill. As there is a ward of sight in the pit from Hellborn, so they obviously know this is going on. Dev gonna look for a hook, I think. Because everything's missing. Because he's too far out of the pit. Still missing everything. Gonna hook, not hit. So, with the death on Kraken and how fast this is dropping, Hellborn might not be able to stop this. Beast Wolf up here scouting out the Hellborn scene, so they know exactly what's going on. Pushbook is available from Dev, so hopefully he won't try to steal this. Nope, another hook missing, and it is going to be a token onto Moon Queen, so that's going to be a bit of an issue. And I'm awfully worried about Hellborn's position at this point. With the token on the Moon Queen, they can basically push in and throw a Rax because she can be up in the front with all the minions and stuff, and she's already doing that, saying, "Look, you can hook me in, and that's fine, but I'm probably going to kill most of your team between my death and my team's damage and the resurrection damage that I can put out. So, good luck." Hook there hitting nothing. Moonbeam onto Ganal. They're getting locked down by the Skeleton King next. Release the Kraken dropped onto a lot of stuff here. Warbeast with the Shrunken actually off to the side. Torture dies immediately to Kinesis' burst. Everybody in the Hellborn retreating. Devour is not able to get away. Neither is Glacius. Immediately buys back. So that's 3 kills right off the bat. Kinesis getting locked down here. Will die. Despite the newest blessing, it's not going to be enough. There's a Moonbeam onto Dev. Actually, Kraken trying to charge Moon Queen back. Not into the thing as a nice Emerald Red Stun goes out. And we'll see if they can actually clean up any more of these kills. They're well diving at this point. Probably not worth it. And they're going to realize that and back off. But both Rax die in bot. And they lose Kinesis, but he buys back. Doctor coming in off of the side, trying to pick on somebody. Will get the token off of Moon Queen, but not going to be the biggest deal. I believe she has an ult too when she comes back up. There's the ultimate. And that's going to be a bit of a problem for Hellborn as Kraken's getting locked down. Will drop. Shrunken head from Doctor, and he will be able to get out of there. Power throw hitting nothing. Another Moonbeam again, and yeah, he needs to leave. Legion side once again grouped up pretty well. Kinesis with a portal key, gonna try to get something onto Torture. Will drop him relatively quickly as the creeps help finish him up. Moonbeam onto Glacius there, push book forward from Kinesis, and he's doing a ton of damage. Will get the cone on him as well. Gonna get jumped by this Doctor, pulled in by the Magnetic Captain and the hook into the well, but Ganal dies in the meantime, so 4 for 1 there as Kinesis drops yet again. But there's the GG's. As Legion just had a really strong mid-game, and I don't think Hellborn executed their game plan. They had a gank team. I think the draft was generally stronger on Legion as well, so there was that factor, but Legion playing this very well, and TZP will drop game 1. So let's move it on to game 2.